Hope is alive, and focus on hope is what this program is all about. I'm your host, Eve Moffat, and I'd like to welcome you to our episode. I have our guest today who's been through some harrowing experiences, and I'd like to introduce Karen Massey. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Eve.
Thank you. I love your story. Tell us, give me a little history. What was it like growing up?
Oh, I actually had very loving parents. We didn't have much money, but I had a very sound home relationship, which was wonderful. Because it was a town of only 3,000.
Oh, small.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Smaller than Cottonwood.
Yeah. Well, and you say, I was a cheerleader, I was a majorette, all those things, and had good grades. But you got to remember, that's a mighty small pond. It's just a little area, and so when you leave that, you realize what a little fish you are in a big pond instead of the opposite. But I felt very secure and really privileged until I left. Faced the world.
And you married and everything?
Yes, I married when I was 18, and I had 2 daughters. I was married for 10 years that time. I married again and was married the second time. I had no children, but I was married for close to 20 years. And no more. I don't do a good job at picking the right person for myself, so I'm very happy to be single. I have a wonderful man in my life that's my best friend, but I don't think I'm qualified for marriage.
Well, it's good to know. What was it like growing up? Like, did you you run around and you played hopscotch, you did everything?
Oh yeah, all that. It's a small town. It was right on Lake Michigan. It was a resort town, but we went to the beach every single day. We used to get, when the wind would blow off the lake, we'd get sand in our front yard. That's how close we were. We were about a block from the beach. And it was just, it was really a beautiful place to grow up. Now, I'm old enough that they didn't have sports for girls when I was growing up, but we found our own games, and there was a big playground near us, and it was very lovely.
Did you go to college?
Yeah, I have taken college classes. I did not complete college.
Yeah.
But I got married so young.
Yeah, you got married so young.
Yeah.
Now, what age did you start having these medical problems?
Actually, I was diagnosed with diabetes when I was about 23, and so I dealt with that for a while, but it wasn't until I was about 48, 49 that I developed heart problems and had to have 1 chest surgery for the wires, but also 2 bypass surgeries on my heart. 2. Within 6 months of each other.
Wow.
Yeah, the first surgeon had done it wrong. So when they wondered why I still had symptoms, they saw that he had attached the wrong vein to the wrong place, and I still had the same problem. But it's hard on your body to go through 2 surgeries that close, you know, because it almost takes actually 6 months to get everything back to your comfort level.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is diabetic neuropathy?
Oh, that's what I have in my leg, and I have it in my arms. And it affects the nerves. Things go numb. They hurt you've got like prickles in them, and like when I try and push my chair very far, my arms just ache. You know, I only get about 10 feet and I got to take a breather and then try it again and let them calm down. The same thing with my leg, my right leg. I have a lot of problem with it because I have an artificial leg and I can stand on the two of them. The artificial leg, I do much better than my real leg because the pain in my real leg doesn't allow me to walk many steps. I can go maybe 5 steps now or so. And then I fall on the ground because the pain is so intense. A lot of people suffer with neuropathy, whether it's diabetic or some other kind. But that's what mine's from.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Now, you've had quite a few surgeries in your life. Yeah. Tell us about that.
Okay, well, it's actually just been in the last 30 years, which sounds like a long time, but when I was about 48, 49 is when I had my heart surgeries, and they would go, when they did a catheterization, they go through the groin, and the way the doctor explained it to me, that's how they tell if you need to have the heart surgery. So then I had the 2 heart surgeries and a chest surgery about a year later for the wires in my breastbone. And I'm losing track of what I'm talking about now. Okay. Then after that, they do caths where they go up through the groin, and
the calves are what?
Cath is a catheterization.
Okay.
Angiogram is another word for it. And so they go through the groin, and what happened is, what started the whole thing is the guy that was doing it was the assistant instead of the regular surgeon that I thought I was having, and he pulled it out too fast, and he says, the doctor explained it was like an onion. You know, you have to pull it out so that all the layers stay together. Well, he pulled it out too fast, so all these layers kind of got strung out, and I lost, your leg gets cold, you lose circulation because of it. So that started my little adventure of leg surgeries. And as I went on, I had bypass on my leg several times, and as I went on, they discovered that something else must be wrong because I was getting blood clots so much. So they discovered I had antiphospholipid antibody syndrome, which is rare. But my daughter does have it. It is a hereditary factor. I showed up with it first, but no doctors knew what it was. But by the time she was at the age of having children, she had problems, and then they had learned about this. So through her, I learned a little more about it and went to a specialist, and he gave me tests and said, yes, you do have it, and you're going to have lots of problems with it. So I had...
What is it exactly?
It's a blood clotting disease.
Okay.
So I would get blood clots. Actually, I'd get them right behind my knee, usually, but anywhere and through here. And they did some surgeries to bring me more blood in from the other side. And it really was a constant thing. I had about 15 surgeries to try and get blood flow to my leg. And it stopped working, And it was like I was in there almost every month having another bypass. And that's really hard on your body.
Yes.
So finally I said, okay, because they wanted to take the leg off. So I had it off actually 3 times. I had it off twice below the knee. And one of my veins in the top of my leg collapsed, so the pain was tremendous. So they had to go above the knee, which is much harder to learn to live with. But I don't have pain. That's the important part. And so I had to learn to walk again. I was 57 when that happened. That was 12 years ago. And I was told when I left the hospital, they said most women my age, in fact, my surgeon told me this, most women my age become chair-bound because they don't want to leave the house and they don't want to get up and do things. So I was pretty determined. And I went and learned how to do things. I learned before I got my leg, I learned how to hop on a walker and go quite a long ways with it. And there were just a whole lot of things to learn. It was like starting all over again, and the things you take for granted, like when you have two legs, if you go to step into the shower, you know in your brain you've got this other leg to count on. Well, you don't know it after you have one off. So I could put my foot over it.
Yes.
I had a helper helping me. I still could not mentally take the plunge of standing on that one leg. It's just, now I can.
Yeah.
But it was something to learn. There was just a lot of fears that you don't even think about that come up. But it's been an eventful life.
The thought of losing my leg, you took it pretty well, or did you have?
I was terrible. I've been going to a surgeon. He'd been trying this surgery and that surgery, everything, to avoid having that done. And when we finally had to start facing it, I told my daughter, don't worry about it. I'm not going to be around. There's no way I'm going to live. What did I think? Like a freak. That's what was in my mind at the time. And it was big. It really was. I just, when I was younger, I put way too much value on my looks. And so losing a limb was just, you can't hide it that well, I hate to tell you. But I figured out finally that I studied and went to some programs and so on and tried to get beyond myself, and I did. When I finally went in for the surgery, I was able to pray that I could accept what God decided for me. I wanted it below the knee really bad, but I didn't pray for that. Because I had a strong feeling it wasn't going to work. And so I just prayed for acceptance, and that really worked. I didn't have the disappointment when it didn't work the 2 times below the knee. Those could have been really difficult for my mental health during that time, but because I just had faith and acceptance, it really made it much easier for me, much easier.
You told me the community helped you a lot. You found community.
Oh, yes. I lived in Flagstaff at the time, and they were just wonderful up there. I had a lot of friends. I would have, right before the surgery, I had so many friends show up that my daughter couldn't get into my room to go down to surgery with me because the place was packed. But I just had tremendous support from my friends up there. And then the town also, because it was about 3 years later. I had a leg that you had to lock at each step.
Lock at each step.
You had to click it into a lock.
Okay.
Before you could pick up your other foot and
Yes.
go ahead. And if you didn't do that, you'd fall flat on your face. The knee wouldn't work, it'd just go pring.
Have you fallen?
Oh, have I fallen? Yes, many, many, many times. But I wanted a nicer leg, and they told me I qualified. I was on Medicare, but I was only 57. Sometimes they don't give it to you if you're a lot older. But they offered to get me a computerized leg.
Oh.
The only problem was it cost $56,000, and my portion of it was huge. And so my friends got together and decided to have, fundraiser for me, for the money, because I had gone through so much money, since my 50s.
Yes.
Couldn't work, and then I had all these hospital bills and things like that. So I just really didn't have it left. But they got together, they put a nice article on the front page of the paper, they announced it on radio, they really went all out. And I met many people I'd never known before that contributed, and I had a good friend that owned a restaurant in Flagstaff, and he provided food for it. I had another friend that has a coffee shop where he also has music. And he provided the area for everyone to come, and then all of the people that were performing the music were volunteers that had contacted me, or I contacted them, and they just did it for free, and it was just wonderful. I've never had such an uplifting thing in my life as what that was. That was just wonderful.
Wow. So you moved down here from Flagstaff.
Yeah.
Why?
As time went on, my lungs were not the best. Excuse me. And it started out after each one of these surgeries, I'd have to be on oxygen for a few weeks. And that's livable. But then I got pneumonia, very severe, and it shut my lungs down so badly that I had to be up at that elevation, 7,000 feet. I had to be on oxygen 24/7. And that is like having someone's got your leash on you, and it's really difficult. So I made the move down here. I use my oxygen at night, but I don't have to use it during the day. I love the moderate weather. I don't have colds very much or anything like that, and allergies, yes, but it's a different temperature. I've lived in Phoenix and I've lived in Flagstaff, and this is just the perfect in between.
Yeah.
I just really enjoy it.
Yes. You moved initially where you live?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
No.
wow.
You mean at the apartment I'm at? No. I moved to an apartment in Verde Valley Manor, and it was the one they had available. They went to a lot of trouble to make it as handicapped as they could, but there was not a handicapped apartment available.
Okay.
So about 4 or 5 months ago, they got one available. I'd been there almost 4 years. They had an apartment available that was handicapped, and I just love it. Just love it. There's so many little conveniences that they have thought of that you don't think about.
No, I don't think about it.
The height of your
Yeah.
counter, the height of your clothes hanging. I can't hang clothes up like that. But it's so convenient. I'm just in seventh heaven. And I was very fortunate. I had, they required that I give a new deposit for the apartment, and that was really difficult for me. I had given $560 to the old apartment, but they wouldn't transfer it, so I had to come up with another $576, I think it was. And that was very difficult to come up with that money, but I called my church, and Spirit of Joy Lutheran Church, they gave me some money towards it. St. Vincent de Paul gave me some money towards it. My daughter in Washington sent me some money towards it. So it was like God wanted this to happen. When it first was brought up, I thought, there's no way I can come up with that kind of money. I just live as I go along. But people opened their arms and helped, and I have found Cottonwood to be such a rich, enjoyable community. I just can't tell you how much I have enjoyed the people here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
wonderful
important
people.
that you like where you live.
Oh, yes. Yes. And this is perfect temperature-wise. I have gobs of flowers, and just life's good.
Yes, you have lots of flowers. Tell us about your flower growing.
Oh, well, when I was younger, when I was really young, and my kids were little, I grew some flowers, but then I had to start work, and for so many years I worked that I just didn't have the time to really get into flowers. But when I was 50 and I was told I was disabled, one thing I could do is fix a little pot of flowers. Maybe I couldn't run to the store or do this or that, but I could do the flowers. And so that started it, and I love roses. So I started building on it, and now I got a lot of flowers, front and back, and in the house I have a lot of plants. But I enjoy them so much. I spend probably 2 hours a day just out
2 hours.
picking on them or planting something
Yes.
new or cleaning the patio or just
Wow.
I'm out in the sunshine and fresh air, and it's all something I can do. I'm very fortunate. I have help. I have a woman that comes 10.5 hours a day through Arizona long-term
A day?
care. Or, a week. A week.
Okay.
And through Arizona long-term care. So the heavy stuff that I can't reach or I can't do, she does for me. And it's just, it's a huge boost to make your life what you want it to be.
And what's her name?
Oh, her name is Rhonda.
Have you made friends with her?
Oh, yes. Yes, we're fast friends and we really get along.
Yeah.
And she loves flowers too.
Now, you were on the show before.
Yes.
And what has happened between the time before and the time now? Are you still able to drive anywhere and do?
No, I'm not. I can drive, but it has to be something really important. It's not the driving. I can drive anywhere. Well, you ride with me sometimes. I trust myself driving. I don't have any problem there. But getting my chair in and out of the car. I've had, in the last couple of months, I've had a really difficult time where I've fallen in parking lots trying to get my chair up in there, and then I've had a little vertigo. So I'd fall to the ground, the chair usually on top of me.
Oh.
And so I've really had to cut back. I can take my, this is just my small chair, but I have a chair that is through Medicare that is electric, and I can take that and take the bus down to Walmart or take the bus to an
Wherever.
antique shop,
Yeah.
whatever I want to do. So there's transportation. All of the buses are able to accept handicapped people like that. So it's just a wonderful, wonderful alternative. I have to give up a few things that are in the evening unless I can find someone to pick me up. Or there's a few things, but I crushed my foot about 3 weeks ago.
You crushed your foot?
Yeah, and this is the first time that ever happened to me. I had on sandals on my good foot, and I went out the back Arcadia door, and my sandal caught, and my chair, which was the electric one, very heavy, ran over. My foot went back like this. My chair came around
Ouch.
here and ran over it and pinned it there. luckily, my friend Dave was there and got it off me because I couldn't go forwards, I couldn't do anything. And but it sure did hurt. But that along with a couple falls in the last few months has really made me stop to think about my health, and I want to remain able to do the things that I can do now, like my flowers and other things. But if you're laid up, you only have one leg and it's in a big cast.
Yes.
It's hard to do anything. And I got real sick of television, so I just time to smarten up a little bit, I guess.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Focus on hope. What does hope mean to you?
Well, actually, faith and hope go together for me. I looked up in the dictionary, and they said hope is a desire accompanied by expectations. And really it is. To want and expect, that's hope. But hope is something, we were talking about this before, hope is something that you can see in someone else, you can feel in yourself very definitely, but it's kind of an inside job. The reason I think faith is so much a part of it is your hope comes from your ability to have faith in something. Could be faith in higher power. It could be faith in yourself, which is usually earned by trial and error.
Yes.
Or faith in your friends that help you. Faith in your family. Those things are what allow a person to hope. And, some people, a tragic thing happens to them and they just say, life's full of stuff, okay? And they don't try and go any further. They sometimes they feel sorry for themselves, they let people wait on them, they always want someone to take care of them or help them.
Yeah.
And if you have a little faith in yourself and you're willing to try and get more, you can have faith in yourself. You can know that there's some things you can do and you can do well. And I think it helps your self-respect, your character in general. I really do believe that. And I think that's where hope comes from. We hope in our higher power. That is kind of an easy one because that's thrown at us all the time. Although some people have trouble accepting it, but I think faith right in your little world also. I am a Christian and I have faith, but there's things to be worked out in your little world.
Yeah.
And I think it's important.
Yes. Well, you've given us a lot of hope today.
Good.
I want to thank you so much, Karen, for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for joining us. And I'll see you next time on Focus on Hope.